Good afternoon. I'm ready to open the session on data and climate action, an environmental challenge. Since the dawn of the history, man was trying to gather data, information in order to survive. Things didn't change since that, except of the means. So in this session, we will be exposed to some technologies, all technology, livable technology. Each one of the panelists here will talk about his technology and will present it. At the end, if we have some time, we'll leave about 5 minutes for question. Please.
My name is Laia Romero. I am the director of Lobelia, a tech company that works with satellite data for climate action. What you can see here is evidence, is satellite data in the Amazons from last August when there were people denying the existence of fires, and satellites showed that they were actually occurring. This is to draw your attention to the fact that satellites provide observations, neutral observations of what is actually happening. This is Sentinel-5P, a European satellite, free and open, that covers the Earth every day, and that gives us a lot of information on air quality, on NO2 in particular. With this data, we can see that NO2 changes, this is satellite observations, changes at a city level. And so at Lobelia, we use this data to fill in the gaps on what observations record at a city scale and provide a continuous street-level map of pollution. These sort of maps are produced in Barcelona, in Madrid, in Amsterdam, and counting. I want to talk a bit about the capacity of satellites to map vulnerability to climate change at a city scale. In this slide, you can see cities all over the world. This is past climate, 50 years of past climate data in every city. You can check variables, you can check trends, you can check graphs from every climate variable. And this is available as well, free and open for everybody. This is the basis of our work with UN Habitat, for which we take these past observations, we downscale and correct the biases of climate data at a city scale, and we provide them with projections of what the climate will be like at a city scale. They put it in this engine that covers urbanism, migration, every single aspect of what a city, a smart city, should address, and produces a report on the assessment on what to do in front of the climate emergency. Here you can see some examples of this work that has been conducted lately in Yakutsk, Maputo, Asunción, Port Vila, and also counting. More and more cities are onboarding this program. This is the assessment report, key messages on climate projections at a city scale. Know what will happen in your city and address it to create a safe space. Thank you.
So short. Excellent. Our next panelist, Mr. Chaim, he also talks about environmental and in Spain and Madrid.
Hello, everybody. My name is Chaim Kolominskas. I'm the General Manager for Europe, the Middle East, and Africa for Envirosuite. And I'm looking forward to sharing some of the work that we're doing in air quality management for cities today. Now, when I started working in the air quality field just over 20 years ago, air quality was a niche issue, really. Interesting for a few scientists and really not many decision makers. And in that 20 years, things couldn't have become more different. The problem, however, with air quality management at the moment is that still there's very much a reliance on on the storage and the display of information. At the same time, air quality is still a very complex issue. There's complex science behind it, meteorology, so it's very difficult to understand for a decision maker in a city or a business, first, whether there is a problem, and second, what you can do about that problem. At the same time, the measures that cities have to take are very disruptive for cities. If you need to restrict traffic or parking or restrict or shut down businesses, that can have a severe economic impact. So you want to make those decisions with real confidence. And that's the space that Envirosuite aims to sit in terms of air quality management. What we believe is that if you can make information available in real time, and if you can make it understood for people that are non-subject matter experts, you can make real gains in air quality management. And I want to share just a couple of examples of how we do that today. One way is to take information about the weather, information about air quality, but using fine-scale, high-resolution meteorological modelling, but repurposing that in a way to make it easy to understand. You can not only understand whether you have a problem, that might be a sensor that reads a high value, or it might be a person that makes a complaint, that experiences something. It could be they breathe in a smell, they feel that they're being affected. You can, within a few minutes of that incident, understand the likely cause of that issue with reverse trajectory modelling that operates on a very fine scale. So not only do you know that you have a problem, but you know where in the city that problem originated from. Taking sensor information, what you can now do is when you integrate that with weather information on a very fine scale, you can not only understand which part of the city is causing a problem, but also which activity is causing an issue. That could be ship loading in a port, it could be a particular congestion area in traffic, or it could be a particular zone within a factory. And this is all available now in real time. When you have a wide sensor network, you can take that analysis to another level. You can actually understand not only whether there are issues in terms of air quality impact, but how many people are affected, as well as where that issue is coming from. So Envirosuite's design is very much focused on being able to give that information to people quickly or in advance. When you present and display information across a city scale, you have to present it in a different way so that people easily understand where the issues are, so they can start the response and start the investigation without having to leave their office. At the same time, when you start to look at trends across history, both short and long-term trends, you need to be able to have tools that are specifically focused for air quality management, that take the specifics of air quality science, but translate it in a way that's useful for people to understand. Now, Envirosuite's been around for about 10 years in its current form as a product, and we've got about 100 customers around the world at the moment. And I just want to share one of our recent projects on a city scale with Kuwait. There we're taking in about information from over 100 sensors on air quality, and Kuwait, the Kuwait Environmental Public Authority is using that information to understand, analyse and respond to air quality issues across the city, mainly focused on the industries that are important for air quality there. That's the petroleum industry, the wastewater industry and agriculture. That's pretty much all I wanted to share with you today, so thank you very much for your time. If you're looking forward to the discussion at the end of this session, and please feel free to visit us at our booth 295 later on as well. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Chaim. In a modern society, we harvest lots of data from all points, sensors, cameras, whatever. And we don't harvest that data for the sake of data. We don't need data just to say, we have a data. We need the data in order to find solution to a problem that are occurred or will be occurred. So we will be able to overcome any environmental hazard in the sake of the city and the citizens of the city. Our next speaker, please, Ingrid.
So hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ingrid Cornejo, and I'm working for the German Agency for International Cooperation. And today I'm going to talk about our cooperation project in Mexico called Árbol IoT, or the Internet of Trees. So this is a cooperation project developed together with the city of Guadalajara. We're working together with two big municipalities, the Municipality of Guadalajara and Zapopan, and the EMEA plan, which is the Metropolitan Institute of Planning of the city. The platform so the Árbol IoT platform is a platform to democratize the knowledge about urban trees, to allow citizens to access information about urban trees, but also to collect information and help them contribute with environmental and data. I think it's important to mention the background of this technology. This technology was conceived based on the real needs of the citizens and the city. So for this, we developed a series of workshops, design thinking workshops in the city, for them to identify the climate challenges that they had. So they prioritized the increased temperatures that they had in the city and the extreme weather events. To come up with the idea that what they needed to do was to improve the quality and quantity of their urban trees. But actually, to do this, what they needed to do first was to come up with an urban tree inventory to know exactly what they have in the city and know how they could improve it. They had been working a lot with several technologies, like the other panelists already presented, like remote sensing, and they already knew where the location of the trees was. They had a lot of information about the city, but they were missing a lot of field data. So the city decided that they wanted to crowdsource this field data with the help of citizens. So for example, to know what the state of the tree was, which species they have, some measurements of the tree, etc. So for this, they came up with the idea of developing this platform, which is based on a web app where citizens can visualize all the information, a mobile app where citizens can actually upload the information about urban trees, and a network of environmental sensors, which are DIY Arduino based, and every citizen can actually build them themselves and contribute with information and data about the environment. This sensor was developed with the help of a local community called Makers Guadalajara. They came up with this idea and this design for a sensor where they can actually measure air pollution, NOx and particles PM 2.5 and 10, sound, noise, light, and weather conditions. The result or this data ends up in the urban tree inventory that the city is developing and is accessible for all the citizens to contribute and visualize the information. For us, it was very important to develop a whole strategy to implement and sustain this idea. So the whole platform is based on a gamification strategy to actually motivate citizens to provide the data. So it's based on a green point solution where they can earn points that later on can be exchanged for small prizes or like discounts on cultural activities. For us, another key issue was gender, so we tried to involve as many women in the development of the solution. We collaborated with other NGOs and social enterprises such as Laboratoria. The solution is an open source solution that can be transferable, and we're working on some transferability packages for other international cities to be able to grab the solution and customize it to their specific needs. Data privacy was also a key issue, so we developed a training to train municipalities and raise awareness about how to take care of the privacy of their own citizens. So this data training will be available online in a few months. And the last key point for us was digital inclusion. After the first piloting, we realized that citizens did have access to smart devices, but most of them did not have access to mobile data. So what we came up with the idea of developing a light version for the app. So now citizens can collect data and upload this data once they have Wi-Fi in public spaces, for example. Another solution that we came up is we're developing interactive tables so that the elderly or people that do not have access to smartphones can also access and participate collecting data. All these will be available to other cities through our Climate Digital Cities Hub. Also, the data privacy training will be available here, and this is one as part of the strategy to make it sustainable and transferable to other cities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Laia. Please, the floor is yours.
Hello, thank you very much. Let me introduce myself. My name is Lukas Motzek and I'm from Sensor.community. So this is just now the world premiere. We have run so far under another project name. This is a platform for environmental data. Mostly we are known for the project regarding air quality, where in 2016 in Stuttgart in South Germany we had a situation that we requested the official data of the official measurement stations because we did know that they have the highest values in whole Germany. And what people wanted to create is this. They wanted a website where they have the live values and they see immediately how the situation is, and based on that they can make their daily decisions. So this is now a network of over 10,000 sensors in 71 countries, and we are measuring air quality, temperature, pressure, and this is what reflects the project. Now the platform is adding the same dynamic because we made this kind of dry topic kind of sexy in Germany. It's all around in the news. We have coverage from BBC, from Guardian. So now we have also like global reach. And all you do is like you go on the website and you have the live values on the map. You can download everything ever measured, and this is highly used by science in academia in whole Europe. So when I've been on these events with 50 scientists, I thought I have to convince them. I have to make them aware we are existing. And then I saw their presentations, and I saw this was one of their slides, actually. And 1/3 of the talking time was about our project, what we do good, what we do not so good, and how we can improve. And we make many of notes. And with Sensor.community in the platform, we integrate all of these lessons learned. So now we adding this dynamics and have joined forces with EXA and created a campaign which is called Cleaner Day. Oh, let me first show you this slide. This is Samenmeten. It's a data portal of RIVM, which is like the Health Environmental Agency in Netherlands. And they fully integrated our data, so they also recommend the project to the citizens when they request how is the air quality in my area. So I want to tell you there will be the Cleaner Day campaign where we are fully integrated, and as well as let me introduce you to the Earth Challenge, which will have their 50th anniversary next year. So this is rather a global campaign. So just time-wise, okay. But this is where we are already. So we are looking for collaboration with institutions, governmental institutions, cities. Of course, we need to integrate this data with other data silos. We are in several research projects already. They take weather data from the Copernicus system. They have a chemical modulation. And now, because these two silos are top-down data, they add our network from the bottom. So in Stuttgart, where everything began, we have now over 750 sensors, and the scientists love that, the data set. And they say it's amazing, they work on it. And how everything began is, I will take you now on the journey, how the steps been so far, where we ended up. This is the library of Stuttgart. It was just a small group of citizens that sit together and decided we will create that platform. And they created a crowdfunding campaign. The goal was only 300 sensors for one city. And now we are above 10,000 in 71 countries. We are adding 1 to 2 countries per month. And we are growing, like when you compare, more than Amazon in terms of numbers. So we studied what is out there, and then we discovered this. This is the sensor. This is the size of the sensor. So as a citizen, all 4 parts together, the material cost is just 40 euros. We provide you the guide how to put them together. We provide you an open source firmware that brings this alive. And this network wakes up every 2.5 minutes, measures, sends the data to our sensors, and we do two things. One, we display it on the website as you've just seen. Secondly, we store, of course, in a database. This is available for everyone, downloadable. And we have an API. And now it comes. This API is widely used by many applications. We are now creating a community project list to list up all of this: chatbots, mobile applications, websites, collaborations with, as I mentioned, RIVM. So we bring more visibility to this project, and they can reach out and collaborate, because this is how we can solve this issue, not as a silo and performing well in what you do, but in tapping into other fields, bringing more people to the table and work together. So that's why we are here, and we are looking forward to get in a conversation with you and see what we can get next. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcel. David, the floor is yours, please. Plenty of time.
Testing. Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dave Gregory. I'm coming down here to get a bit interactive with everybody. I'm from Milestone Systems, and today I want to share some ideas around how you can use video technology to help achieve your climate goals. So the good news is this is audience participation for this first part. So we've got 5 minutes, 5 facts that I want to share with you. So 4.2 million. Any ideas what this number is? Any takers? Well, it's quiet down here. How about this side? You, sir. You look like you wanted to say something. What do you think? 4.2 million? Yes, this gentleman's seen my presentation already. 4.2 million deaths per year due to poor ambient air conditions. 91%. Any takers over here? This guy's definitely seen my presentation already. I'm not going to ask this guy anymore, but you're right. So 91% of the world's population live in areas where emissions and air quality exceed World Health Organization recommended limits. That's crazy. It's a crazy number. I'm not sure you'll know this one. 227. This is something personal to me, right? So I'm from London. This is 227. Any takers for this one? Who said this? Yes, sir. Yes, so that would be good. My hourly rate, not quite. This is how many hours, on average, somebody driving in London spends in traffic. Right? So we start seeing a correlation between these really bad pollution and these figures and our habits. Oh. It doesn't go back. Okay, so 500,000 was the next number. Any ideas on 500,000? You, madam. We've never met. Number of sensors. So 500,000 surveillance cameras in London, and half of those surveillance cameras are looking at roads and vehicles and traffic. So surely we can make use of that data to help improve emissions in our cities. So let me tell you about us. We're Milestone Systems, and our mission is to make the world see. And we are an open platform, and with my presentation colleagues here this afternoon talking about many different sets of data and different platforms, we integrate with many sensors, devices, IoT devices, cameras, and bring them into a common platform to enable to visualize data and to start making use of that data. It's really not good with this clicker. So what I was going to show you on the next slide was video analytics collecting data from vehicles. So video analytics enable us to collect make, model, color, direction, speed of vehicles, but also we can link in to databases that also tell us if that vehicle meets the latest emission standards. So we can start using that data. And when we start looking at that and we look at a safe city, and this is a terminology that we use at Milestone, safe city. Safe city is just one key element of the whole smart city environment that we're talking about at this show. I'll be very sensitive on this clicker this time. I think the technology is failing me today. 2 seconds. There we go. So by using technology, and one example is in London, and I promise 5 key facts. This is the 5th one, and this is a positive. So in London, there are low emission zones where vehicles are controlled, drivers are fined and receive penalties if they take a vehicle that doesn't meet the latest emissions into that city. And by implementing that in 2017, there was a 36% reduction, so a third of harmful emissions were reduced in those low emission areas. So using video and actually using infrastructure we already have in place, we've already got cameras, we've already got sensors, can really have an impact on the emissions that we and the challenges around emissions that we face in the cities. So clicker's not working. So for your convenience, we can show you that technology working. You can see how we can track vehicles. You can see how we get all of that information and all of that data. And that big blue milestone sign just there, that's where we are. So after this presentation, we'd love to show you that technology working in real life. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, David. Cities consume about 80-85% of the energy of the total country. Yet they are in charge of about 80% of the pollution. Our cities are polluted because of the energy we use and other things. But the pollution, the energy pollution, is one of the most effective and cause to a problem. I would like to call Ricardo to tell us, to discuss how do we take all this data that we already gathered from cameras, from sensors, from other things, and to manage it, because we are gathering a lot of data, and sometimes we don't know what to do with it. Ricardo, the floor is yours.
Hello. Hello. Thank you, Eddie, for the kind introduction. Thank you, everyone who stayed for our session. My name is Ricardo Vitorino. I work at Ubiware, a Portuguese software development SME working on smart cities. You've met the panel, you've met the moderator, you've met me. We don't know you. So could you please raise your hand if you live in a city at the moment? I know you do. I know you do. So, okay. So as you can see, a lot of people live in cities, and they are struggling with the amount of population living there. And if you think of the things that you have running on a city in terms of infrastructure, connectivity, transportation, water, environmental monitoring, energy sustainability, these are concerns that affect a lot of people, especially ourselves. So what we can provide and what we are trying to solve is the challenge of having all this information, all of these issues in the integrated system. So please meet our brand product, Urban Platform. It's a cloud solution that gives the city a real-time status of what's going on. So collecting data from IoT devices, video cameras, mobile applications from the citizens, or other information systems that are already running on a city, we aggregate everything in a single dashboard, giving the capabilities of filtering out what's of interest and getting real-time indicators about the effectiveness of the city. By giving this opportunity for a city, they can actually collect the issues that are causing problems in congestion, in environment, in sustainability and give a proper response in real time, assessing the closest team on the field to go respond, giving you feedback and giving us tools to make our cities better. And this can be done also at the policy level. So at the moment we are seeing cities testing new technologies, but they need to assess if the technology also has an effect on environmental, on performance of transportation, on the impact on energy sustainability. So by testing out, for instance, the banning diesel cars or banning specific types of vehicles for a week or a month, by using our platform, they can actually correlate the data and see if the policy would work at the longer term. So you don't need to do it empirically or based on common knowledge. Furthermore, and since we are talking about sustainability and exhibition, and the city has an overall multifaceted team from responsiveness up until high-level planning and policy making, we are providing the ISO standard norms indicators to measure the quality of life and sustainability of the city. Because we all know that until 2030, we need to change, we need to reach the Sustainable Development Goals by the United Nations, so we provide a tool that allows the city to assess against itself and against the others to see if it can achieve the goals that it has promised or it has to do it. In general, our platform collects data from multiple sources. I've mentioned already some of them. We have IoT devices deployed in cities, we have CCTV cameras, open data portals and information systems, and all of this information needs a scalable architecture that adapts to the dimension or the issues or strategy of each city. So we need to follow best practices in smart cities implementation by European associations or standardization bodies. And all of this goes through a very seamless process that for a city they don't have to concern or care about the proprietary or locked into vendor proprietary solutions. They can simply trust us to make sure that the data can come from the sources up until the single dashboard that they can use to optimize their operations. As I mentioned, we are a Portuguese SME. We are here from the 6th time in a row exhibiting, and we have already pushed our technology at an international level. I'll give you some examples in Portugal where our urban platform is running. In the city of Porto, we have air quality stations gathering data about noise, weather, and our air quality conditions, and we are correlating it with the traffic conditions and other points of interest in other domains. In Évora, a UNESCO-protected city wants to become more sustainable, wants to invest in electrical mobility, smart lampposts, but wants to assess if this effectiveness also has an impact on the quality of life, so using our urban platform. Guimarães, the birthplace of Portugal, getting feedback directly from the citizens, getting these indicators out, achieving sustainability. Last but not least, where we started with the concept which was validated at the European level. In Select for Cities, we validated with the cities of Helsinki, Antwerp, and Copenhagen that this is a need for cities. We are not reinventing the wheel. They need this dashboard, they need this information, they need these indicators to make our lives better. We are in the Central District, just behind the wall. Come see this live, come meet us, talk with us, have a coffee, a beer. We are happy to welcome you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ricardo. Is there any question from the audience? Yes, please. Hold on. He'll give you the mic.
Thanks for your presentation. Thanks for presentation. Just one question: why you chose those 3 cities?
Well, we are biased by our location. We are very close to the city of Porto. We have participated in projects with them for a long time now. Guimarães actually got really excited with our urban platform, and they are very innovative in terms of solutions. Évora was actually funded by a lighthouse project by the European Commission, so we were their partners to implement the smart lampposts and the urban platform, which are the 2 core flagship products that we have. Regarding the 3 cities from Select for Cities, that was exactly the consortium that they got funding to implement an Internet of Everything platform, and we were part of one of the consortium that helped them on the 2 phases of the development. I don't know if this is clear, but we are looking We are actually demonstrating the city of Barcelona in our video wall, in our stand, because the expo is here, and Barcelona is very active in innovation projects, and they have a lot of open data available that we can quickly integrate in our platform and showcasing the cross-reference that they used to have in single applications and single domains. Thank you.
Any other question, please? Well, if not, I have a question. Was there any action been taken due to your technology? It's the question for all of you.
Yes, actually, we had this year a kind of like summit organized in Gdańsk, and we let people from different countries in Europe come together and share this moments. It's like there is a great man in Ukraine, and he used this network to create a campaign around it about air quality issue, and he brought it so far that the biggest power plant had to sign a document that they will invest a double-digit million amount in the next 3 years for filtration and everything around air quality. So there was like immediate impact, and we didn't know that even. We are a project that has zero funding. We did everything by ourselves, so I can't even imagine what we could do and we could get any support of any institution. But they came, we didn't know them. They just picked it up because it's open source. And we only see them when they register. And that happened in Bulgaria. So they picked us up in 2017. Now they operate 1,000 sensors, have their own sensor network and own campaign. And the dynamics in Central Eastern Europe are totally different than, for example, in Germany, and totally different than in Scandinavia. In Scandinavia, the people work together with the government. In Germany, we're supposed to work with the government. In Bulgaria, it's love and hate and war.
Thank you. Laia, just a small question for you, if possible. How does your technology influence on daily life of the citizens of the cities?
Well, it's on? Yeah. I believe that Árbol IoT impacts the life of the citizens by giving them a platform to contribute to the well-being of their city. So I think citizens feel involved and engaged by being able to contribute with information, and at the same time they're able to report things that are going wrong, and it enables a dialogue and communication between the citizens and the government. I think this is the most important thing.
Thank you very much. Anyone want to add? Okay. David, for you and for Ricardo, data is from different sources. How do you integrate those sources to one good decision-making for the mayor or for the city leaders?
So, as I mentioned in the presentation, I think the key elements of that is being an open platform, right? So there are hundreds of devices already that we use. There are going to be thousands of devices that are developed continuously, IoT devices. So it's about being able to talk to those devices. So a driver framework that allows you to connect easily to then use that data is absolutely vital to start making use of it. And then it's down to the visualization, right? So we receive that data. It's no use to us if we cannot use it and make good use of that. But also when we then talk about some of the AI things and technology helping us, we still need that human element, right? We can rely on machines to help us analyze data that would just be impossible for us to do as a task ourselves, but we still need to be presented that to make the decision of how we respond and what we can do with that information.
Thank you. So AI will be the next stage.
So on our side, it's unfortunate that you couldn't see the slides because one of them showcased exactly how we are tackling that. Essentially, we are following best practices in terms of interoperability. So we comply with open standards, which means that when you plug in your wallet for powering any device, that's a standard thing. We are doing it for exchanging information between devices. So every device should speak the same language, or at least should comply with it. So if we have that example, then we are great. It's plug and play. Sometimes there are bigger challenges where there is this proprietary system in place. The city has access to the data, but they cannot push it to a digital system and open as the other platforms are providing here, so we can help on a tailor-made integration. But in general, it should follow on the best practices with open protocols and open standards.
Thank you very much. Before signing off, I would like to first thank the organizers and, of course, you, the audience, that make this session essential. And, of course, my colleague, the panelist. And I would like to add that data and information, it is very essential, but it is not the end. We have to find solution, an innovative solution, in a good way of thinking, solution that will be integrated with others, with other problems, because we are not going to solve a problem and to create another problem. So think about it with open-minded and open heart. Thank you very much, and have a good day.